So what I'm gonna start with is we'll just start with just some basic neck rotations. So just nice and easy. I'm gonna kind of be in this position and just trying to loosen the neck up. So I'm gonna are up, down, left, right. So just I'm gonna pull my head back, and I like to hold it for a second, and then tuck the chin as far as you can. And then I lift my head back up, so I'm kind of looking straight ahead, and then I want to look to my left as far, hold, and then look to the right. And we'll get 5 of these. Just trying, nice and slow, trying to loosen the neck up, get some good movement. In like each position, I'll just take like a quick deep breath. And once you guys get to 5, we're just going to transition to our cat cows, and we're going to do 5 of those as well. So just nice and slow, keep my arms underneath my shoulders, my knees under my hips. And I'm just going to think about pushing my upper back up as far as I can. And then I'm just going to try to drop my chest and then head come up. Just nice and slow, just feel your upper back round. Drop down. We'll get 5 of those. As I'm driving my upper back up, I'm kind of pushing my hands into the floor, creating a little bit of tension. The next one that we're going to do is we're going to kind of add a little dynamic to it. So we're going to do a downward dog into like a Spider-Man lunge. So just what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drive my hips up. So I'm going to drive my hips up, try to get my legs locked out, good V shape, try to tuck my chin. And then I'm going to come down and I'll step and just sort of push my hips forward. Get a little stretch there, and then I'll step back up into that downward dog. And just taking a deep breath in each position, and then I'll step up with the opposite and sort of drive the hips forward. And get we'll get like 3 to 5 of those. You can almost, and I like to almost get that stretch, so I'll actually like relax my arms a little bit as I come, so we're actually not feeling it in the arms from getting tired. So you can drop that back knee. Think about driving. Feel that good stretch in the hamstrings as you get into that downward dog. And then as we sink into that Spider-Man, we should be feeling it in the inner hip, maybe a little bit in that hip flexor area. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add like a little flow with we're gonna do like a pigeon hip flexor stretch. So I'm gonna get into my pigeon stretch, and the key with this pigeon stretch is I really want to try to keep this foot from bending. I really want to try to keep that 90 degrees. You know, you might, but I'm gonna sink into this. Feel that stretch there. I'm gonna take a deep breath, and then I'm just gonna scoot forward, and I'm gonna drive that right into our hip flexor stretch right there. And then I'm just gonna sink back. I'll sort of pivot that leg back into that pigeon stretch, and we'll get 5 reps like that. So we're just not actively holding it for that long. We're just gonna hold it for like, say like 1 deep breath, and then just come forward and drive. And I want you to feel a stretch right in that same hip flexor. So we're working the hip flexor, and we're working that same. So I almost like pivot that foot, slide back into that. As you get comfortable with it, you kind of feel where your body's at. So you're trying to, each one, you're trying to get a little bit more of a stretch with it. Feel, squeeze the glute, drive that hip forward. When you scoot back, we'll try to really keep that 90 degrees. I'm trying to almost turn my hips into it. And just pivot. We'll get 5 reps, and then we'll switch. We'll do the same thing on the other side. You're holding it for just like a 1 count, just 1 or 2 count. Just good deep breath. And we scoot up. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. What I like about it too is it's keeping us like, as we sit back, we have to, you know, kind of move, pivot our leg a little bit to get into that good position. So you get that. So I'm pivoting and then stepping up. So I want to think when I'm doing my hip flexor, I always think knees are going in the same direction. I'm sinking forward, getting that good hip flexor stretch, and then I'm pivoting, almost like we do like with our get up, and then I'm stepping back. Pivot. Drive. We'll get 5 of those. I don't worry about that back toe, digging that back toe in. I kind of actually like my foot not to be dug in, but as long as you're not arching your back. And then after we get that, we're going to just kind of flow into our ankle mobility. So it's something that we've done at the gym a lot. I'm going to come up. So I'm in that bear crawl position, and I'm going to just come up, just lifting the legs up, and I'm going to cross one leg kind of behind my calf, and I'm just dropping that knee down. And then as I push my hips up, I want to try to get that heel to the ground. Almost like a one-legged downward dog. I don't worry too much about the upper body, kind of where my head position is, but I'm just trying to really get that good bend on the toes as I come down, and then drive the hips up and get that good calf stretch. And I'll get like, you know, anywhere between 6 and 10. But the key is get that heel to the ground. That foot should be flat. And then as you come down, you should see a good bend in that toe. And just so you can shake it off a little bit, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just going to kind of dig those toes in, come up a little bit, wrap around, dropping down, pushing that butt up and back, feel the stretch in the calf, then drop straight down. So I'm really trying to drop that knee straight down. I want to keep that knee as close to the toes as possible, get that good bend. That's really what we're thinking about. We're thinking about that foot, toes. That's where I really want you guys to feel it. Calf. And then once we get done with that, we're going to go into like our adductor. So I almost think if I'm in a split squat like this, I'm going to pivot 45 degrees and I'm just going to go out nice and wide. And I'm going to just lean into it. You should feel a stretch right in that. And we'll get like 6 to 8 of those. I'll hold it for a second there. I'm thinking about my whole body going back. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Get out nice and wide. Hey, Robbie boy. Wow. 60 there. So, all right. So the next one I was going to do like our Blackburns. Justin, we could probably do like just like you know, it could be either our elbow to elbows or our side lying here. We're gonna do a good Bretzel stretch, which will be similar to this. So I might do like the elbow to elbows for now. But I was just gonna get some Blackburns and just, you know, in this position here, I'm just gonna think about starting behind my head, behind my back right here, and I'm just gonna try to keep those arms up. I'm gonna go all the way around. Try to go behind the head and back up. And we'll get 8 of those, just trying to get a good stretch in the back shoulders, upper back. From there, I was going to do our chest stretch. And here, we're just going to, I reach out to the side here, and I'm just stepping over. Justin, you might be able to just not, usually I'll start from the ground, but you don't necessarily have to. You can kind of lie on your side and just have your hands out. And then just sort of, once you step over, you can sort of lean forward a little bit to feel that stretch, kind of put you in that same position. But I just step over and I'm trying to look over my shoulder, and we're looking to feel a good stretch right in that chest area. I'll hold that for 20 seconds. We'll come out of it slow, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just sort of reach out, step over, and just look over that shoulder. Should feel a pretty good stretch in that chest shoulder area. The more I kind of push my body away and look over, the more intense it gets. I'm also thinking about, you can also think about the shoulder that we're stretching. I'm trying to push it forward. So I'm driving that one forward as I sort of look over my shoulder. And let's come out of that slow. Right. So this stretch right here, it's called I know we've done the Bretzel stretch. We actually do the Bretzel 2.0. This is Bretzel 1.0. So this is like the original Bretzel. It's a pretty good stretch. So what you do is you're lying on your side, and we're gonna bring our top leg up like this, and we're gonna take the back leg. I'm trying to see if I can. I'm gonna take this back leg. I'm gonna try to grab right here, but I want to keep this leg up here. So if you can get that back leg, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna just try to lean back, and you should feel like a pretty good stretch in that upper back area. I just hold. And what I'm thinking about is I'm just trying to think about bringing this shoulder down. I'm trying to open up. Reason we got this leg up is we don't want to be using our low back. So we're trying to keep that, kind of like how we do our normal T-spine thing. It's really the same thing. We're just taking other stuff to kind of keep our hips and everything else out of the equation so we can really rotate with that upper back. And usually if you just think about taking some deep breaths, so each breath, each exhale, you're trying to pull a little bit more. But we'll get like 20 to 30 seconds there. You're lying on the side, and we bring the one leg up. We're going to straighten this other leg out, the bottom leg. And then I'm just going to pull. So you should almost get like a little bit of a quad stretch maybe with that. You're keeping that down, and then you're just going to try to pull your shoulder here to the ground. And just each breath, you're trying to open up a little bit more. Very good. So the next things that I was going to have you guys do, a little bit dynamic. What we're going to do is I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to do basically our single leg deadlifts. But what I want us to concentrate on is really reaching across our body. So as I'm here, I want to really reach across. So I'm single leg deadlift, and I want to reach across. As I do that, I want to try not to shift this too much. So it's just my upper body really reaching across, and I'm trying to keep my lower body in that single leg deadlift. So you should feel, as you really reach across, you'll feel a lot of stuff going on in that front leg. So it's keeping your lower body steady from not doing, so we're not trying to, our normal single leg deadlift, that's lower body's doing the same thing. We're going to take this the leg that's going back. I'm going to just try to reach across controlled and then come back up. So it's a pretty slow controlled thing. We'll do 5 of those. So just, you're reaching back, slow controlled, really try to reach that arm across without changing. You should feel stuff going on, and then you come back up. Almost in like slow motion. Really trying to stretch this arm out, and then I'm pushing that foot to come back up. Reach that back foot back, reach across that arm as far as you can without changing this. You're gonna notice this knee's gonna want it, like you don't want that knee to go out or turn. But get 5, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just, it's a slow, controlled. You're seeing how far you can get that arm across without. A lot of good stuff just going on with balance and another good thing about this too that I like that it, you know, the one thing with the single leg deadlift is it's just that stability in the hips to kind of keep the hips even. So by reaching across, it's keeping that hip down, which I think is really important. So a lot of times we want to open that. And notice like sometimes we do that cone drill where I have people reach to that way, about keeping those hips nice and level. So it's a good drill. Stretch that back leg out, you're reaching across. So get 5 each side, and then just start, we're gonna do some 90-90 switches. We'll add that hip extension to it. So think if you're in that 90-90 position, put this down. So we did this the other day. But you're here, we're gonna just pivot up. And as I do that, I'm trying to get nice and tall, feel that stuff. And then I'm just sort of sitting back in control. And then I wanna think about opening that back leg up, nice and tall, and pivot. And then I'm just gonna roll forward. I like to think squeezing that butt. And then I'm gonna sit back, open up that back leg, and we'll get 5 of those. The slow, controlled, I think sometimes we rush to 90-90. I'm trying to open that up. I want to keep that knee down as much as I can, keep the knees away from each other, not move the feet too much. Even when you do your hip up and you're coming up, try not to move the feet too much. So you're trying to keep those feet. It's okay if you shift a little bit. All right, good. I'll get 5 each side. And then I was gonna finish out with a core thing, just nice and slow. I was gonna do a bird dog, which I think you felt pretty good doing, or okay doing, Justin. I don't know. If you feel all right. Yeah, so the bird dog, I do really like this exercise. I'm here. I'm going to try to keep my feet and my arms pretty close. And what we're doing is, as I go out, opposite arm, I want to show you this angle. I'm going out, room. And I want to kind of extend out, squeeze. So right here in this position, I'm trying to squeeze the glute, keep my hips nice and steady, keep your core tight. And I like to do 5 one side, and then we'll do 5 on the other. I'll kind of just bring that leg in. You can keep that knee up. So come in. Sometimes people you can add a little, try to get your elbow and knee to touch. Still trying to keep your back nice and straight. And a really good one is the bird dog, where you do both arm and leg. So if you can do the same arm, same leg, extending out, it's really good. It's tough. It's really tough to do, but we'll get. Five on one side, 5 on the other. So just things that I'm thinking about is I'm trying to stay nice and steady. You're trying to really keep that core tight, just from moving. And then as you extend out, squeeze that butt, really extend that back leg. You should feel stuff going on. And if you come in, try to keep your back straight. And we'll get 5 of those each side. So.
It's hard.
Did you try the same way? Isn't it hard?
It's hard, yeah.
It's like